Heavenly Father, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and allow you for allowing us to be here tonight. Father God, I just want to ask that you continuously cover us like you have been. Father, I want to ask for a special prayer for the mayor and all the board members and the citizens of Vidalia, Father God, that you keep us covered and watch over us at all times, Father God. Father God, sometimes it gets hard, but we know that that's part of life. Father God, we want to ask that you allow us to make our signed, sealed, delivered decisions on tonight to make for the betterment of the city. In my son Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. We have roll call this time. We'll start from our left.
Sabrina Doria, present.
Tryon, Cedric Boyd, Cindy, present. John Bill, present.
Father God, and you.
Donna Prescott.
Now, full board tonight, so we are in session. First item of business, we're going to approve the minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one from our special meeting on June the 29th and also July the 11th. And y'all want to entertain a motion to accept those?
Got to do the second.
I guess we could do them together. If there's any question or any on either one, is there a question on either one? Any questions? And I will entertain a motion that we accept both sets of minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Alderman McCoy, second by Alderman Gardner, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number one, I'm going to ask our county Deborah Moat to give our financial statement for June of 2017.
Okay, as of June the 30th, 2017, our actual revenues over expenditures is showing our actual totals of revenues was $33.8 million, and our budgeted totals is $36 million, which is a variance of a negative $2.2 million. This is primarily due to the hydro royalties came in lower than expected, and the capital projects of the conveyor at the port did not happen as expected, so the revenues are down. And then our expenditures are also down compared to our actual numbers were $32.4 million, and our budgeted totals were $34.6, which was a difference or favorable variance of $2.1 million. So then we came out, our actual numbers, our revenue over expenditures were 1.3 versus our budgeted revenue over expenditures of 1.4. It was a $92,000 variance. So, but our expenditures were down in almost every fund except for the enterprise fund, which was over by $327,000. This is primarily due to the power cost. But, you know, otherwise, I think we had a pretty good year.
Any questions? The actual change in our, one of the things that people look for as far as a town, the healthiness of it, is whether you're changing that position. And our change in that position, this is actual, right? Deborah, is that right? 1.4 million?
That's the budgeted totals. 1.3 is the actual.
That's 1.3. I'm sorry, I looked at budget 1.3. No questions on that. I'd like to move on to item number 2. Thank you very much, Deborah. The first one on our list on occupational license applications is the Sirocco AC LLC. Alderman Betts had brought to my attention that we do not have to approve this based on, would you like to elaborate on that?
There's no need for an occupational license. This is just informational. Insurance companies pay insurance premium tax every year in lieu of an occupational license.
Okay. Any questions on that from the board? Just for information purposes. Mr. Sirocco is here. Now, one thing he just asked me and before the session was we didn't get it in time to have his application for a sign ordinance. And does the board want to entertain looking or hearing from him what he wants to do so we can get him approved for that? Or
You have it there?
I do have all the signs printed out in the application as well.
I'm in agreement.
You want to bring it
Yeah,
forward?
sure.
You just take a look at it.
This is the application. Actuals to the signs with the exact dimensions of the signs.
Mr. Mayor, was there a motion on that?
Pardon?
Was there a motion to waive the
Make a
agenda
motion
item?
that we waive that and move on with the, try to accept the.
I second.
Okay. If that's what we need to do, that's what you need. Y'all in favor of that?
That's better than having to wait.
We got a motion and a second.
Yeah. I made a motion. Robert
Second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Same thing, guys.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It kind of got a little rushed.
That is a normal all-pay sign, right?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? I hear a motion, we accept that sign ordinance.
I make the motion that we accept the normal sign that our state normally carries.
I'll second that motion.
Second, Alderman Dory, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have All About You Behavioral Health Services, Inc., Tabanika Chapman. Is she here? Tabanika, would you like to tell us a little bit about your business?
Yes, my name is Tabanika Chapman. I'm from Vidalia, Louisiana. I own and operate All About You Healthcare Center Services in Vidalia since 2008. We have branched out into the behavioral health services, which we joined the network in 2015. December 2015, they said that all healthcare agencies had to separate the Office of Behavior and Health from PCA, where we provide services for the elderly and the disabled, cooking, bathing, cleaning, light housekeeping, medication reminders. So this business that we're bringing in Vidalia is targeted towards the youth in the community. We do independent living skill building. We teach them how to go out and find jobs, how to find housing, how to find resources to go to school for college, and how to become successful adults in the community. So we decided to bring that business over to Vidalia.
Any questions from the board? I hear a motion, we.
I second it.
Motion made by Alderman McCoy, second by Alderman Garner, all in favor?
Aye.
Welcome to the day, we hope you're very successful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is upon healthcare, this is a change of ownership application, and got Emily Merrill, I see is here. Any questions on that? Do I hear a motion to accept that?
I make that motion that we accept the change of ownership claims.
Okay,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Dory, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have an outdoor sign application by River City Cabins, Camps and Carports LLC, and I have Teresa Johnson is here, and she has her application for a sign. Any questions?
Make a motion we accept.
Motion made by Alderman Dory,
Second.
second by Alderman Crowe, all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay. Now we have, discussion on number 4. We're going to need a resolution. We'll listen to discussion on to allow the sale of alcoholic beverages at a benefit concert on the day Riverfront. Ronnie Calhoun is here representing the band Vidalia, which is he's here. And Ronnie, you want to tell us a little bit about the event?
Yeah, just so everybody knows too, my band is called Vidalia. I grew up here in Vidalia and moved off to LSU and everything. Figured what better way to name my band than after my hometown. So we try to spread the word about Vidalia as far and wide as we can. But anyway, we are teaming with 3 families from this area to do a fundraiser. One, I see Heather back here. The Ellis Malone Foundation is one, and that we're going to split the money raised 3 different ways. Ellis Malone Foundation will be one. Ada Taunton that recently passed here not long ago. The DPIG was what cancer she had. Is one of the most underfunded pediatric cancers out there, and it's also one of the most aggressive. And we're going to donate a third of it to the Michael Dozier DPI Fight that type of cancer foundation in her name. So whatever we can raise, we're going to raise it in Aiden's name and to honor her. The third family is the Bryan family. A lot of you probably know, have heard about Lily Ann. She's a 4-year-old girl. Recently went to get her shots for pre-K, and they found masses and told the family that they needed to go to St. Jude in Memphis, and that they would be there for a minimum of 18 months. So as you can imagine, the bills don't stop. Even though their world kind of turns upside down, their bills don't stop. So my band is a lot of people wanted us to come back home and play, so I figured, what better way to do it than to get everybody in the community involved and try to do something good with the whole thing. So basically what we're asking for today is, can we sell not alcohol, just beer at the event? All the beer sales, all the proceeds are going to what I just mentioned. So way I look at it is, if we don't, people are going to be sneaking out to the vehicles. I've seen this a million times from playing music, playing fundraisers and stuff. People are going to go out to the vehicles, shoot whiskey, shotgun beers, whatever they can, run back in. They're going to do it anyway, the people that want to. This is a controlled environment, and we have security. We've done it. I've been a part of these events many times. I've never seen a problem at all. But anyway, that's what I'm asking for, is to just be able to sell the beer. No hard liquor, no wine, only beer at the event.
Ronnie, I just have a question as far as license. I know that it's required. I'm sure you'd have to have a licensed vendor to be able to do that.
Once we get, if we get approved tonight, I'll call the state in the morning, and you can get 8 special event permits per year. And what they do is they'll give me a special event permit for $115, and for 24 hours, it gives the our charity the ability to sell. The ABC board or whoever it is gives us the right to sell the beer for 24-hour period.
The only other thing if there's additional insurances that are required liability-wise, I want those in place as well, just to protect the residents.
And we're going to have $1 million of insurance to cover the event, the venue, and anything beer related will be covered in that also.
One of the things, just so y'all know, Ronnie, if you're an LSU fan, you go down there on the big screen, their band, their song was played for the whole season, wasn't it?
A couple of years now, I think 2 or 3 years now.
So that's his song on the Billboard LSU, pretty exciting. So, but anyway, any questions from the council?
I have one. The only thing I have, everything, we pretty much covered everything you said, but I just wanted to touch bases with Joey. He told me that he spoke with Joey, and Joey has already obligated the Vidalia Police Department to take up security, correct? Correct.
What charity is this? Who's the name? Somebody's got to be responsible for it. So.
It's a 501c3 that I created for this event, because in the past, normally, like in the past, we did it for Heather, and whenever we were trying to take sponsorship dollars, it was easy to say, make it out to the Ellis Malone Foundation. But this time, since we're splitting it up 3 ways, I had to create another entity, and it's called Movements Through Music. And we're just going to keep it open-ended, and we're going to use it from here on out. I mean, I play all over South Louisiana. We're going into different states. I mean, anything that we played flood relief stuff down in Baton Rouge. So this is something that I'm glad that we were kind of forced to start this up, because now I can use it for any events like this. And hopefully in the future we can do a lot more events. One thing is this community is really, everybody wants to help out. And it's just hard to find opportunities sometimes. I know that's how I felt, with some of these things, and I'm like, I can't do anything, but I can play music, I can bring people out, I can bring people together. So that's really all I can do, you know? And I feel like an event like this allows people to come, pay their $10 for a ticket. People, kids 12 and under are free, so if anybody wants to come, bring your kids, that's free. Very inexpensive night, and it goes to a good cause.
I just want to say congratulations to you. You've been doing this for quite some time.
Thank
And
you.
everybody says you should always use your gift for good, and you are a true example of somebody who has done that.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, I make the motion that, as long as with those conditions of everything that he said as far as license for each one of those vendors or whatever, as long as all that is complete to City Hall, I make the motion that we allow him to apply for the one-day license.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Probst, all in favor? Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Y'all can pick up the tickets at Weeks Furniture and the Duck's Nest, Heather or me, or Megan if y'all are in Monterey. Thank you, guys.
Council, do we need to approve that as a resolution like as we said on the minutes, I mean, that's on the agenda? Do we need to have a resolution accepting that?
I'll make one of them. I'll do it. I got it.
Okay. Okay, item number 5 is one we've been fooling with. It seems like forever. It's a resolution to amend the ordinance number 666 and 667 regarding the sale of city-owned property on Elder Street and John Dale Drive. Our original ordinance that we put in place and filed was that we were going to sell the properties at auction, starting at appraised value. Did not work. So we have to amend that ordinance to come back and change the verbiage in it that says that we have to sell it or start at appraised value. And I will open up for discussion with the Alderman if y'all want to set a floor limit on that, and that we will entertain an amount less than appraised value, and whether do a bid process or auction process. Until we do that, we're not going to move these properties. So I'll be entertaining any discussion on that. You have a feeling one way or another. We've done all the things necessary, appraisals and so forth, to proceed with it. We just have to, our ordinance, we have to abide by the ordinance, and right now, to sell them, we'll have to amend those ordinances to say that.
To say the starting bid would be less than the appraisal.
We can set a floor, whether it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. The appraisal was $35,000, I think, on that house, on that under.
Mr. Mayor, I think that if you just pass an ordinance next time, it'll be pre-filed tonight, that you just delete the requirement in those two ordinances that the bids must start at an appraised value.
Because to me, why would we start something at appraised value, somebody's gonna pay more than it's appraised for? If they set it, it just,
See, I was under the assumption when we talked about this last time, it had to be. At the
The
appraised
old
value.
ordinances said
Yeah.
that it had to start at appraised value.
Yeah.
So we delete that provision, so they can bid whatever they want, and then you reserve the right to accept or reject all bids.
I guess one of the questions, I just question if we wanna put a floor on it, because, we only have 2 or 3 people show up and they bid $5,000.
That's not a good
Huh?
That's not a good
So, do you wanna put a floor on it?
There should be.
Of course, now we have the right, this is gonna be
You said
the
we could
right.
review it.
That's right.
Okay. We just leave that in there like that. and just go from there.
So what would the floor be?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see if it's something that we think we'll have the right to refuse, that whatever it's off, if it comes in when we feel like it's too low.
I see.
So, anybody want to make a motion based on?
If people come in and bid, if you decide to take sealed bids, and they come in and bid, then you open the bids and see what they are, and then you tell them, now we're gonna consider y'all's bids, we'll let you know next week. And you'll decide whether or not to take them.
Okay, so the first question is, do we want to do sealed bid or auction? Which,
Well, the ordinances already give you that option, to do sealed bids, public sales, or auction. We're leaving that alone. All we're doing is taking out the provision that anybody who bids would have to start at the appraised value.
You don't always get the appraised value.
No.
And I agree with you.
That gives you the option still to do it by any means, public, private, seal bid.
So I make a motion that we take council's recommendation.
Yeah.
Motion
I
made,
second.
all in favor, second, all approach, all in favor? Okay. Item number 6, public hearing and adoption of the ordinance for municipal code, community code implementation. As y'all know, we introduced this and pre-filed it, and now we're going to open it up for public hearing. And so I hear a motion going to public hearing. Motion made by Alderman Best, second by Alderman Gardner, all in favor? Okay, we're now in public hearing on the adoption of the ordinance for community code implementation. Any questions? Anybody got a question? Bill Murray is ready to.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Now, he and Bobby Paul and several others worked really, the department heads worked really hard on this.
They're ready to go online. As soon as this is done, they're ready. They're sitting there ready.
This will all be on the online where you can access it. You don't have to come to City Hall. You can, at your leisure time, read, investigate, study. Any questions? Any questions from the public? Okay. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing? Motion made by Alderman Boyd. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor? Okay. Now, do I hear, do we need a vote on it? for
Mr.
final
Mayor,
adoption?
before you vote, the ordinance is pre-filed, had a section that requires, it says the ordinance shall become effective on a certain date. You know, do you want to set a date or just make it the usual 30 days after publication?
Can we do it as quickly as possible? Like, what is the time frame? How soon can it be done?
I think you said anytime you want to make it effective once you add it.
I'd say effective immediately upon
Still
adoption.
effective tonight.
Is that going, I think the question on that was before it had to be approved.
And I think we have to publish it anyway.
You said 30 days?
No, I was saying you can make it effective on, once the ordinance is published, notice of it's published in the paper.
Right. But you can make it effective after that.
What ordinance are you talking about? Is it business ordinances or is it?
It's muni code, it's
The code
it's all your codes, your building codes, everything.
It's everything.
So I would say immediately, I would think it will make them available as quick as possible. Bill, when would they be available online? Bobby?
Bobby might be able to answer that.
As soon as I have either an electronic or a hard copy of the ordinance that's adopted tonight, I'll send it to Moody Codes and then they will release them. They will give us a link to put on the website. So that's just as quick as we can get a copy of
Does
it.
it have to be the published date? That'd be next Wednesday. The ordinance, I'm just saying, if it has to be published first, the next Wednesday.
I think we need to publish it.
That'd
It
be
can
that
become
day.
effective the date of publication.
That'd be a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
So will we have a copy of that by that time to get to Moody Codes?
But word.
Ought to. I mean, this will be typed up and sent to the paper before Friday at noon,
Okay.
and it'll be published next Wednesday, so after next Friday at noon.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do we need to take any other action?
Did we do now we did the motion, et cetera, to adopt? Well, it's going to be on date of publication.
16th, right?
Date of publication.
I make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Dory,
Second.
second by Alderman Probst, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we come to the pre-trial ordinance for adoption of our city employee handbook. We've had meetings. The last employee handbook was dated in 1992. Even prior to, I think maybe a bag phone was out then, but now there's cell phones and so many things, the employment law has changed. And what we've done is not only, we've done a lot of research and we've been trying to bring everything into compliance Is everything perfect in the handbook? No, it's not. There's gonna be things to discuss as always. But it is a guide for us to run our municipality and dealing with employees and things of that nature in their employment with the town. We met, several of the aldermen have looked at it, and we've had discussions, and we came up with our, with the policy, but we do have a couple of discussion topics that we need to get clarity on, because we have a few subjects or items that we just need a decision on, and we'll go with what the council wants to do in relation to the handbook. So if you have your handbook, we'll start. And y'all bear with us, I'm trying to go through this pretty quick as we can. And those things, some of them are minor, some of them may require a little more discussion, but this might be a boring part for some of you, but we'll try to get through it pretty quick. On page 5, on the introduction, we're going to delete the paragraph that you see. All y'all highlighted? Okay. We're going to delete that whole paragraph.
And that's the paragraph that deals with the incentive
Yes.
payments. Okay.
Any questions? Okay, let's move on to page 7. With paragraph number 1, we're going to delete also. It's just semantics there. Okay, page 8. We're going to change rehire and change process to process. This is tedious. We need to get it right. Page 9, paragraph 2, city management shall require. Now, I think we should require, if this is dealing with someone who is out before they can return to work, they have to get a written, shall require a written signed doctor statements to ensure that employees who return to work after a serious injury or illness are physically capable of performing their duties and assignments without risk of re-injury or relapse. Any question on that?
Well, this was one of the things that I looked at. I just thought that we ought to just take city management out and just say that a written signed document statement is required.
Okay.
I want it there, but to have city management necessarily say they got to have it. I mean, we just say we got to have it.
My question is, would they would present it to their supervisor, I would think, their department head, who would actually go to,
Well, we would also make it a part of their file, their
Right.
file, that employment file, because, there's some people, you've got to have that written, signed doctor statement, let them come back. You let them come back and doctor at police, and you open yourself. Okay. I think we're in agreement on that.
What's the result?
You said you wanted to leave it in there, they shall require, just,
Yeah, I wanted just to take out city management shall require and just put capital A written, and then add to the end of the paragraph shall be required.
you just want to take that whole first part out.
Yeah.
Start the sentence with an A.
Start the
And
sentence.
with
Shall be required.
I don't have a problem with that.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
if we did with clarity for sure, I think everybody's in agreement with what it's supposed to intent, how it should be. Again, on page 9, medical evaluations, pre-employment ad wording, on page 6, the current policy manual, which is your attached copy. Attached copy on the back, and what that says. Any questions on that? I think that's good. I can't remember who brought that up. That was a good thing. Okay, page 10, dealing with summer help that we haven't used, but they want to change it. It's saying starts in June, but they want to back that to May instead of June. Because sometimes college students, if we do have a summer program, they can start in May and they get out still as opposed to June. Yeah, I think that was one of the guardians, like change that to May instead of June. Any questions?
May through September?
Yes. If we ever do that, it can start in May instead of June.
Some college students get out right at the beginning of May or right in the middle of May.
Most of them go going back in August. So you can change it to
Y'all-
May, August
I don't
instead of
think
June.
y'all okay with that?
In August.
But that's fine.
On page 12, which, meal period, take that out beginning at noon, just to take out, because most lunches, some of them can be from 11. Not everybody can go to lunch all at one time at noon, so they just want to just take that out completely beginning at noon. Page 13, work periods, revised shifts for water plant operators to end shifts of 9 hours for 4 days a week and 8 hours for 1 day a week. It's just a change in kind of water plant operates. They work 9 hours and then take 8 hours on that Friday. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, just like everybody else.
Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Page 18. We're doing pretty good. What we're doing is changing, all the effective dates are going to be January 1 of 2018 coming up for.
I'd like to see us change that to July 1st, 2017. It's a physical period. This is our city operates on physical period,
Okay.
and the pay is in that period. So we start vacation at the same time that we're paying. It doesn't, if you start in January, you're going between periods. So if we match it up with our physical period, our money period, then it would work.
Is that all
But
right?
most of the time, don't the leave start during our physical year?
Everything's okay?
Well, physical year. I
don't think that's what
the
it is.
physical year is July 1st.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm talking about the calendar year.
Well,
Most everybody
at the school board, we're on physical year.
Oh, yeah.
Our vacation is the same as our physical year.
But Evie's gonna review this anyway.
And then, like I said, everybody's different on that. It doesn't matter as long as you got a year.
Right.
So the question is if we're gonna do the fiscal year versus the calendar.
Right.
Right, and I'd rather see it in the physical year, which matches up.
Matches pay period.
Which is, really hard to do.
What's the problem?
I think, Buzz, what we were thinking about on that was the issue with, given, if there is the use or lose it in the current year, it's gonna put a bind on departments having these, a lot of employees maybe trying to squeeze all those hours in on a shorter between now and December. That was one thing. And then I think we had the attorney for, human resource attorney we have, saying she didn't know that we could go backwards in time to make it effective. Might have to set a date.
I saw that email came in later today.
She mentioned even September.
Maybe September.
Yeah.
But we'd have to run those years. I mean, I don't know, typically, hadn't Vicki, they look at vacation times after you get it, then it starts from January to December. So,
What is the cutoff date for hours of service? Is it an employee beginning date, or is it a fiscal calendar year, January 1, as far as an employee, as far as accumulating their vacation time? When is that anniversary?
Calendar.
January 1st.
Calendar.
Yeah, it's calendar, that's what he's talking about. So, and he wanted to change it to July, so what would take place there? That's the question.
Well, that's, like Jay said, you squeeze, these people hadn't taken those vacations within July, and now in August,
You're
they're
eliminating.
squeezing into a less time to take those vacations. I can see that point.
Let me ask the department head, Mark, when y'all do a vacation, do y'all actually give out a vacation schedule to the employees to?
They have to
their
put in a
vacation?
form, they have to fill out a form and request vacation time in advance. That way you don't have a lot of people off at one
That's what I
time.
mean. You do put out something at the first of the year, say, this is the
Well,
first year, I'm
no.
gonna hand you this calendar. You're senior, you mark your spots, you get first choice.
No.
Is that how it goes?
No, we don't do that, but
You don't do
we
seniority?
require 2 weeks in advance. So if somebody else is off, you can say, no, you have to shift yours to another time.
Yeah, this is the concern I have is with seniority and make it use it or lose it. It seems like we would want, just seniority should give that person opportunity to maybe get a calendar ahead of time, mark your dates if they ever prefer a time.
We don't really have a problem. No,
But you never have had to use it or lose it either, so,
no, that's true.
And
so that's
this,
gonna be a different situation.
Whatever the end of the year is gonna be, we're still gonna have people that have vacation time at the end that's gonna get clogged up.
Yeah.
The end of the calendar year or the fiscal year.
In my mind, the only concern is what Jay was saying, if we go to July, we're backing up and we're cutting off. What about the people who are gonna take vacation for the next several months before the end of December? You know, where does that fall? I mean, that's in the prior, you know, we'd be cutting them off, is what I'm trying to say. We'd be starting fresh, we'd be cutting them off. I think we got something that's working, frankly. If we change it, it would have to be the next time around, maybe. Am I not right about that? When we have a problem, if we go back?
Didn't you tell me today that started in 2018 anyway?
That's what we have down.
That's
John's,
right.
I think he's talking about going back to July 1st behind us, right, John? I don't know how we do that.
I don't think we can do that.
I think we'd have to
Because
make it,
we're-
like you said, do it the next
We're
round.
making a major, I mean, if you want to go July 1st of 18, but I don't think you can go back to July 1st of 17 and retroactively change benefits for folks.
I'm up, whatever y'all decide. I mean, it's y'all call.
my question is every department pretty much under the same function and marks?
Well,
Correct.
same calendar year deal, yes.
Y'all do first come, first served 2 weeks,
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
but y'all are in a different environment now with this union thing too.
Correct.
So you better, I would think you need to look at that pretty hard.
They've already been scheduling vacation, haven't they, Lee?
Yeah.
Get them taken before the end of December.
Right.
But if we go back and we cut them, all the rest of them, we've left, I don't know how we do that.
I think we better do that.
What consensus I'm hearing is y'all wanna leave it to,
What do you do, Chief, before the vacation?
Calendar,
Joe?
Joey. Oh, Joey.
Joey. He was asking you what you did. I mean, we asked Lee and I didn't even see you.
Calendar.
Seniority plays no part in maybe,
okay, I think it sounds like the consensus is leave it there. Okay, let's move on. On page 20, view the probationary period of,
I'm sorry. Also on page 18, I've got it highlighted that there was an error in the benefits eligibility. It shows on here 90 days. I thought we're changing all of that to 60.
We did it all, we noted it. And
it's on the next, it's the next item.
It's the next
Everything.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
On page 20, but we're gonna change on all the probationary periods, we go from 90 days to 60 days.
And that was done just because of state regulation, health insurance? or was
Insurance
that-
change, we're trying to get everything in line with what the insurance is.
Okay, so all benefits start cohesively. Gotcha.
Okay, let's move to page 27, just do a little jump. We're getting there, I will. Outside employment, we was able to delete and improve, and approved by the employee supervisor. It just was supposed to read there that in all self-employment must be reported to the employee supervisor. It doesn't have to be improved by the employee supervisor, but it has to be reported to them. Okay? Any questions on that?
define complete, define complete.
If you have employment that's conflicting with you, that doesn't allow you to work or to come do your job, if you have something.
That means if you're on the city clock, you can have another job somewhere. That shouldn't.
Well, if it conflicts with it, then you can have another job. I mean, I own a timber business, but it doesn't conflict with my ability. I mean, several people might go work at a
Firemen have a lot of different jobs.
yeah, I mean, you might have somebody after hours go work a convenience store for 4 hours, but it doesn't conflict with their, doing their job every day.
So my question, I guess, would be, police officer has a job, just using the police department for an example, but they have a part-time job, and they have to call in because they got an emergency on the other job, or they gotta go to the other job, that's conflicting. Because they can't do their primary job because of the secondary job.
It could be, yes.
The key word conflicting, I mean, if they're not,
They're not dedicated to you, you don't need them. I guess you said.
I mean, you can't have them leave the job to get another function. Is that, any other question on that?
It would be worth a discussion if the word conflicting would be in there. And the only way it would actually be a problem if John Doe had a job, another job, and it happened during his work hours here. That's the only way it could actually conflict.
Conflict.
So,
You talking about trying him to leave here, go to another job? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
doing the.
Just he was working here and he said, well, I gotta go to this
or doing it
job.
on the clock, or,
No, that's, you can't do that. That would be, I mean,
other than that.
I don't know if that's the only way it would conflict, Ron. I think if somebody had so many hours they were working away from here, they couldn't keep their eyes open while they were working here, that might be a confliction. You know what I mean? There may be other issues that's outside employment may be affecting their
Performing duty.
duties.
At the police department, we have ethics that we gotta go by, so in our handbook, it says, must be, any outside employment must be approved by the chief.
Well, that's what,
that's what this is saying. It's gotta be, well, it doesn't say it has to be approved by the employee supervisor, but it has to be reported to the supervisor, and I would expect that if the supervisor to get with us if it becomes a problem.
it reads approved by, but what the suggestion was by whoever, I forget what alderman, was to take and approve by out. So that's, I think that's what y'all are talking about.
Did that answer it, or? Okay.
I know I've had a job per se that told me that I had to report and they had to approve whether I could take on a secondary job or not. As long as, for instance, I'm working in banking and bartending or something like that, it wouldn't kind of acceptable for them.
My agency is the same way. I have to approve a secondary job, so the reputation of my agency is not soured by any secondary job of any of my employees.
So you think that's why they put in here? Do you feel like that's why it's put in here?
I think it's necessary.
You think that's what?
I think the wording should stay, that it needs to be approved. I don't know about the employee supervisor, but I think it should be approved by the mayor.
At least you control, like you were
Well,
saying, certain things,
Well,
certain jobs.
I would expect that if the supervisor is made aware of somebody holding another job and it becomes a problem, I promise you, they come to me. If they're having problems with an employee not doing their job or they're leaving, they come to me with that if there's an issue, especially if it's dealing with conflicting, job that they've got. And I'm okay with not having enough, if there's somebody that's a department head now or a supervisor, I have enough confidence in them that they're going to let me know. And if there's a problem. But I mean, this is setting policy that, I'm open to what y'all want to do.
What do you supervisors think?
I think that if we have an employee, like the mayor said, that's causing a problem, we're gonna talk to him first thing right off the bat.
But the question then arises for me, if I'm an employee and I'm looking at this, if my outside job is not affecting my ability to do this job, but I have selected an outside job that perhaps isn't a good one, you can't, without this wording, it must be approved. There's nothing you can do about it, as long as it's not affecting my ability to do my job.
I agree with you.
And that's the only issue that I have is.
So you want to remove and approve?
No, I want the and approved by the supervisor to be left in.
I think it needs to be, if we're gonna leave the approval, it has to be somebody other than the employee supervisor.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because there is gonna be a conflict.
That's-
If I go to my supervisor
Do you
and say,
want-
I've got a job that You know, I'm reporting to you that I've got another job, and he says, you can't do it.
Well, one of the, if you want to change it where it could say, where it be reported to the employee supervisor and approved by the mayor.
But then you have, on their case, the mayor, but on the police department, you would have the chief.
He's got his own setup.
He's got his
He's
own,
got his own
he said he
policy.
already had his.
Okay.
Got a separate.
It has to be
This-
approved
this
by
has
Joey,
nothing
it
to
just
do
says
with
he is already licensed.
Can I make a recommendation to the board? Sure. If we have an employee that's having a problem, why don't we bring him before the mayor, and then we can, the next city hall meeting, or we can go into executive session and let y'all make the decision.
Well, that's not their decision. I'm
Not
sorry.
personnel.
Not personnel as far as their directing and what they do. How they do their job and all, that's on me if they're not doing their job.
Put a clause in it then that if the employee feels like he's not being treated fairly, that he can come and talk to the mayor to make sure that it's okay.
Yeah, I
Something
agree
like
with
that.
Do that.
Let me ask you this, how many problems have you had in the past with this?
Not any.
Zero.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Do y'all want to put that to be approved by me, though? Y'all want to put that in? Y'all want to agree with that? Everybody okay with that?
Report to the supervisor, approved by the mayor, is that where we are? Okay.
Must be reported to the employee supervisor and approved by the mayor.
So the type of job has to be approved?
It just has to be approved. I mean, as long as it's not, if it's not something we can determine to be convicted, it will be approved.
So Frankie, you might get a job as a male strip dancer or something?
I think that's what they're kind of.
All right, let's move on to, on page 27.
Board, please.
We got a little bit more to cover, let's just try to get, the next on page 27, dealing with nepotism, it says change once to one. So that's just, it's not like you see that, I don't think that's no problem. On page 13, still on page 12, item 13, dual office holding discusses wording of the section.
27.
On page 27, we'll deal with dual office holding. The dual office holding,
We need to go back to the nepotism.
okay.
Let's go through it. Okay. The city of Vidalia will not employ members of the Louisiana.
Unless they've already been working for the city at least one year. That says immediate family of an alternate. You good? Okay. All right, dual office holding, we were going to discuss the wording of that section. The dual office holding, there is a statute, and it's rather lengthy. I do have it. There's a lot to do with dual office holding, and I don't know why this one just specifically targeted aldermen. It just says no alderman may hold any other office or employment under the city of Vidalia's government. But dual office holding is a much bigger state statute, and there's a lot of rules dealing with dual office holding. It's up to y'all's pleasure what y'all want to do, and that is whether y'all want to.
The other one, the other part of that says political subdivisions too.
Right. And then also, with this statute specifies what's a political subdivision and what's not. And a political subdivision, for example, the council,
Why is dual office holding in an employee handbook?
It's a good question.
That's a great question.
well, that's kind of what we're talking about. I mean, this is
Okay.
dual office holding is a state statute. It's just like Wyatt and the Larson Act, and this is basically, it's something that if we had a dual office holding thing, which we may have, we would get a ruling on that you know, whether through council or whether attorney general, on where that is as far as if we have that situation come up with an employee or officer or whoever.
So he's saying, take it
Take it
out.
out.
So take it out.
That's my thought.
Y'all okay with that? Any questions? Okay.
We'll take it out now.
Yep.
And then where's my sheet at? I lost my sheet. Here it is. All right, we're almost there. On page 30, it's, dealing with the drug and alcohol policy. We want to discuss procedures for positive drug alcohol tests and discuss adding language for testing of elected officials. And any discussion on that?
You said in our meeting that y'all were going to check the legality of testing for elected officials. Was that ever done?
Council, we,
Never talk to me about it.
I thought we discussed a little bit today as far as, can you do it? Is it legal to do that? I mean,
We're on drug testing?
Yeah.
I've never looked at that. Sorry.
I feel like until, Attorney General's opinion on it, or whatever the legalities on it is, put in black and white for us to see it, then therefore they can make the decision. At this point in time, we can't make no decision on that, we don't have actuals.
okay. I'll entertain what y'all want to do. My people, when we were elected, when I was elected, I took the drug test. You know, that was a condition of our employment. You know, as far as, you know, aldermen, y'all elected, and I think everybody's under that. I think the question is the aldermen whether or not they should be drug tested as well. You know, I don't have a feeling one way or another. I personally feel like as mayor, I want to ask employees to be drug tested, that I should be subject to that as well. I know, for example, Chief Merrill and the assistant chief, we have random drug tests for our town. Last time we had a block of 20 employees, wasn't it 20? You know, and that is something that is selected by an outside group. It's not selected by the mayor. It's not selected by, it's done, I think, by computer draw, a consortium of all the employees, and they're pulled 20 out of the employees and officers, and those people are subject to come in for the drug test. So that's how that works. But if y'all want to hold off until we can get a ruling on that, I'm fine with that. Is that how y'all want? Okay. Anybody? All right, what about, any other question on the drug testing?
On the drug testing, there are several different statements throughout the book that are conflicting. We kind of talked about those in the meeting. Some say immediate termination, some say subject to discipline up to termination. So we've got to get a cohesive stance on this. We are either going to immediately terminate, or we are going to allow for second chances. But in my opinion, we need to be very clear on this criteria. If we're going to allow for, you know, someone who tests positive to have this action, we need to know what that is. We also, you and I, when we talked about it, we discussed how long will that test be held against that employee. I think in this book, we need to clearly define, you know, that after a certain period of time, it's forgiven, so that it's not a forever, you know.
Those are good points, and what, basically, here's what we're doing now. If we were to have an employee test positive, there's two things that can trigger the test. Number one, it could be a random test. Number two, it could be an accident. Anybody's involved in an accident or something like that, they are automatically drug tested. Also, if there's any kind of pre-certification that's required of somebody in the water plant or something like that, can get a new certification level, we can do that. Also, if you have somebody under suspicion of any kind of alcohol or drugs, you can have one requested in, the supervisor can request those. If someone tests positive, what I have done is we have immediately put in a 30-day suspension. We put in a 30-day suspension for them to come back, and if they have tested, they come back, they retest, and they're clean, regardless of what it is, then it's, and this is what I would like to see us continue to do, if we got to put it in some kind of procedure to do that. I believe in a second chance, because sometimes it takes that for that person to realize, you know, have that light that life shock, say, oh my gosh, I've messed up, I can't do this anymore. Maybe that will be the best employee the rest of your time throughout that way. But understand, the next time, no questions asked. If something happens again and they test positive, it's
Send it 30 days without pay, we can say that, and we'll get paid. And then the handbook would read that they would see that the city will help them, assist them,
Right.
go as far as we can within our resources to help them. That doesn't mean pay them,
No.
but they have to ask for it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If the impetus is on them to say, I need help me
Right.
find counsel, help me get what I need to straighten myself out, we will help them. Then we gotta have an employee, we can't just let them be off native medical because we're trying to help them and we gotta pay 2 people to do a job.
Right.
But we will assist them any way we can. I think that's the interest here.
The point I'm making is you wouldn't be responsible. At that point, that would be on them. You wouldn't be paying them.
That's right.
That'd be on them.
It's on them,
They would
they
be
gotta
off.
pay for their counseling, they gotta pay, we'll help them. We'll
But
help
you would
them
help
locate a
obtain.
counselor, we'll, all those things, anything we can.
Which is a good effort for them.
I think, I see what you're saying. It would be a show of.
And it also
we want
shows
you to-
we've
want you to
done
get
what we
started.
could to help them.
And we do that now. I mean, that's how it is now, so I mean, I don't
We
know.
require them to go to some sort of treatment.
No, no requirement.
Take it back.
There's no requirement.
Okay, I think that's what
That's
Alderman
basically-
Probst is
You're
suggesting.
gonna require them to do that?
I think-
But if they can
is that
refuse,
correct? That's
or
what you're
they can,
suggesting?
and then at least we've shown we've
Did our part.
done our part.
The 1995 handbook, on the next to last page, talks about giving said employee help with the opportunity to return to work.
It does.
Now,
But there's no forced, what do you call it?
it was conditional. It was
Yeah, I
conditional.
guess it's not that you can force them, but
It was conditional that you go to counseling in order to be considered.
Yeah, they have to. It's not required, it's suggested and it will, it's not required for them, like you said. It's up to them to say, yes, I want it, I want it.
But you offer it to, I guess my thing is you offer it to them every time, right? The supervisor, somebody offers them help every time to get,
No.
that's the point I'm making. We should offer that to them. Whenever they are tested, you offer that to them, and they can say, oh, no, I'm not interested.
Offer the assistance of it.
Right, give them the information, give them the stuff that they need.
I agree, that's fine.
My personal opinion, I don't agree with immediate termination. I do agree with if we would go back to the old policy manual. With my anniversary, I would put a quote-unquote anniversary date on it, and for me, it would be a year before. I know some said 2 or 3 years, but for me, I at least put a year, because who wants that to hang over their head? 3 years knowing that whatever, I know. I say a year anniversary, that's my personal opinion.
We've been here before, and we didn't agree with that.
Basically, what Alderman Gardner's saying, that if that person tests negative, that within a year, after a year, he tests again, that would be considered his first offense. I think that's too soon. But again, this is whatever y'all go with, that's what I'm gonna enforce.
This is the way it is. If he goes to the program, and he comes back, he is tested randomly for 1 year. If he tests positive in that year, he's gone.
Well, now, John, now it could be 5 years.
5 years down the road.
But what I'm saying is, this states that right here is that if he goes into a program, comes back, he's randomly tested for a year. If he tests positive in any of that period, he's immediately terminated.
Can you define randomly?
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's
Say it
problem.
randomly.
That's targeted.
Yeah, you can.
Well, it says it should be tested. You will be subject to random drug tests screening for 1 year. So that doesn't mean that you're gonna do him every month.
You should.
Well, that's the thing, if they've done this and you're gonna narrow the window down to 1 year,
Yeah.
they should know that they're gonna be subject, not to a random one, they can, just whenever
Yeah.
whoever wants to say, you're gonna have so many through this year. And if you're still clean, well, then we're gonna wipe your slate clean with it. But if you pop positive again within that year, well, then there's nothing else we can do for it.
Because, I mean, honestly, the tests on return back to work, they know when they're gonna be tested. I mean, it's no good. You're wasting money.
What, from what now? Waiting
Oh,
30 days?
yeah. The saying, we're gonna test you before you come back to work, they time that out.
I think you have to do
Yeah.
that. For our liability.
But we
Where's-
should, I mean, I understand that we have to,
Well,
but
where would you be your start date when you could put them back in service? What would you, how would you determine that?
when you can put them back in service as to bring them back. No, I'm saying the 30-day suspension is good, and I understand it's a legal requirement that we have to test them. What my point is that if the employee knows he's going to be tested upon his return to work on September 1st, guess what he's not going to do for the week before?
It'd be foolish.
I know, but
He wants to go back to work.
we have to, I agree that there should possibly be a schedule. If that is not illegal and if that is not targeting, there should be a schedule that if, this employee is tested regularly within that year.
Depending on his drug insurance, that's 30 days, fairly enough.
That's true.
That question too.
But it's other things besides just that, it could be alcohol,
All right, but now, if we stay like we are, everybody seems to think that that's good, but then if we do periodic, whatever you want to call it, you're subject to periodic drug tests for that year. And if you're positive during that year, it's automatic termination. And what I'm hearing is some think a year is good to put them back if they never got positive, and the buzz is saying no, and I mean, we need some policy from the board. I think if you're gonna say the slate's clean at some point, what that would be.
That time frame is your question.
So y'all are assuming that within a year's time, somebody that's been let go for drugs, that they're not gonna maybe clean up and find another job?
No, we're not talking about,
Are y'all just gonna
we're not
hold
talking
that
about the
job?
eligibility of rehire. No, ma'am.
I think the 1 year, I reset it 1 year is too quick.
How often or how long does it take to completely cycle through all employees on a random?
They may be calling one, you might call the same group every time, it's all random.
Somebody
I mean,
might
random-
get called a year.
Random drug test, we might not have somebody get tested in 5 years.
That makes me want to throw up. You got people driving city vehicles and city equipment that are not being drug tested.
And most of the time when we have a random drug test, all of our CDL drivers are included in that test.
Well,
That makes me feel better.
the CDL driver has to go once a year anyway,
Yeah.
Right.
because of his license. Bill, to your point, what you're saying, that's not the only hangup.
I couldn't hear you.
What you're saying is not the only hangup, the
Okay.
time frame. Alderman Probst is, we're torn between offering assistance or requiring assistance. All this is conditional. If John Doe says, help me, John Doe has no choice other than to follow, you're gonna get drug tested every month. That would be the way to do that.
Okay.
Now, to say he's randomly being tested every time it comes around, that's targeting. So
That's why I say you set a periodic set schedule.
that's when we need to be in contract with John Doe. So he understands, he signs off on, I'm gonna be drug tested solid for a year every month. I know this is gonna happen.
Randomly every month.
At any point.
At any point in time, it's gonna happen to him. He signs off on these, so he can't say, well, they've been picking on me.
Right.
Because I got tested out one time.
Because you broke the rule, You set yourself up for that position.
And additional help is a requirement, just like the drug testing will be.
That makes sense.
You got to do something.
That's what I'm thinking, we're right.
Now,
That's what I want to see. I mean, because that's going to basically keep them on target, you know, and we're just doing our part, not picking on them, trying to help them.
But we're gonna require that they pay for their counseling during that period. That's what you're saying, right? That's what we offer as far as assistance. We're not, for
But
us.
that's only if they come to you before
That's
testing
right. That's
positive.
Ron said that to start with.
Right.
That's before the test.
What we're saying is we need to require it, once they do test positive, we need to require that they go to, and that helps with our liability in the issue as
On
well.
them, on them.
That's right.
Okay.
And that, again, that's my point. I think when I talked to Buzz, is our liability. What have we done to try to improve that employee? What have we done to make it safe to operate vehicles?
Yeah, I think so.
We got video
I
of it.
think,
Oh, there you go.
I think the issue we got now left is when do y'all want to reset the clock on that employee being?
That was the great point that she brought up, is if they are terminated, when, if ever, will they be eligible for rehire?
No, that's not,
That's not, when, if they test positive again after that year anniversary.
When is their slate white?
When is that previous, guilty test?
After a year.
When's
with
it
the
wiped out?
conditions.
I mean, we're not gonna count that, you're not gonna count that as, even though it's a second offense, would be termination. If it's done prescribed as a year or day, y'all are saying, no, we're gonna start over, that's his first offense, not his second. See, I mean,
Ryan, you said you only did that before, so they never come up.
we sat around and discussed this in executive session. We never could come
To a time frame.
Well, let's just ask and see what our proceeding, what do you feel like? What do you feel like?
I just feel like it's longer than a year. That's just me.
I do.
But you gotta give it no.
All right,
I say for you.
You want to see what the department head said?
all right, we'll get to the department, let's go.
Yeah,
Alderman
that's a good
Betts,
idea.
It's gotta be more than a year.
That's my.
What's the number, though?
Alderman McCoy.
Before I give you a time, we got this individual for a year already that he signed up that we're testing him for a year, right?
Right.
We just agreed on that.
Right.
Is the question now, more time past the year that we tested him randomly?
No, if he were to, in a random, being pulled randomly or have an accident,
A year and a half.
Year and 2 days after.
that's what we're saying, if he were
If
to,
he's tested randomly for each month for a solid year, and the poor fella is clean, wipe his slate clean just like he is.
And he entered into the program himself.
Right.
And he agreed to enter.
I
see
mean,
what
if
you're
he's saying, you know what, I learned my lesson, let me go to this program, I will agree to let you test me every month for a year, then he has
That's a good
made,
thing.
he's turning his life around.
Okay, let me ask you this, let's put it in the other foot. What if that person decides, I don't want to go to rehab, and I don't want to get anything done?
Then we make a decision, the mayor makes a decision.
That mayor makes that decision.
Mark, what do you think?
It's been working good for years. I don't know why we need to change it.
So you've been operating off of 1 year.
No, we've been operating off of
Second time.
second drug test, you failed, you go.
What about you, Lee?
What I don't want to happen is every year I got a guy test positive for marijuana or alcohol, and then the next year, he gets another 2 times, and the next year, he gets another 2 times.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it puts the city in a liability situation that we really do not need. If they test, if they come up high that second time, it's a done deal.
I mean, I'm all about giving them second chances. Y'all know how much I offer one employee, so I'm all about that.
Johnny or Joey, one of y'all want to elaborate?
I mean, us being in law enforcement, I'm gonna agree with second time gone.
Forever, for the length of employment.
Never come back.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, we're out to help the public. And I wouldn't want one of my guys on the ambulance to go pick up somebody and they're intoxicated or high or something like that. And then we give them a chance and 2 years later, he decides to do it again. he's done went through the program and come back and he's clean, but then all of a sudden, a year or 2 years down the road, he does it again.
I mean, I agree, that was my stance in the meeting. If we're gonna claim to be drug-free, then we need to be truly drug-free.
Well, that would pretty
But
much.
that has to apply to every single person.
That's right.
It has to be across the board, and that's what we've got, that's what we've got to set forth the protocol. Is it gonna be, you test positive twice, you're gone from your employment date through the end of your employment with us?
That's y'all, that is what y'all.
That's pretty much
that's-
drug-free in a sense. You give them a chance,
That's
but then it's
y'all's
over
decision
with,
to make.
then you're
That's
100% drug-free.
I've given my opinion, and what y'all have to say on what, if it's a reset date, or whether or not.
Have you given your opinion yet?
Yeah, I
I
said
think
what I
you
think.
said 3 years.
He said what the supervisor, the department heads do.
Say what you do.
No, I said it should be longer than a year. I would think 5 years. That's my opinion.
They're saying forever.
And I don't have a problem with that either, but 5 years is,
I would agree to 5 years.
I would too.
That's reasonable.
That's a pretty long time.
let's take somebody that's worked for the town forever, and he messed up, got caught, and 10 years down the road, he has a tragedy in his family, he has a child died, and we've seen what tragedy can happen, it's happened this week. What happens to this person? We can't say psychologically what goes, but after 5 years, I hate it for them, but I think 5 years is enough time that we could do a reset. 1 year is not enough, I don't think, because how many times do you read about people that's gone to rehab, come back, and the first opportunity, right back in? That's not a guarantee they're gonna be clean. It's not. So, I'm for, maybe not lifetime, but a 5 year, that's my opinion. Y'all have the decision to make on what you want to do, but, and I'll follow. We'll go by what you say, and I'll live by that.
Somebody make a motion.
Yeah.
So, okay. Alderman Probst, what is it that you want to change this wording to?
That's going on the fact to keep our liability down, if we enforce some type of program that they go to, because we've done our part to make sure that they're trying to be rehabbed and make them better employees and correct their problem. That's, however it's gonna be worded, I don't know.
I think we all agree with this program.
I think everybody's in favor of that.
Anybody disagree with that?
So require them to go to rehab. Okay, so now the next thing.
And that rehab is on them, not on the
No,
city.
you can't require it. You can't.
No, I mean, they have the opportunity to.
You want to aid them in getting help.
Right.
It's not a requirement, because they might
That's
have the
what we
money.
need, at least we show for that.
You make it a requirement, you gotta pay for it.
Yeah, we would have to pay for it, yeah.
So then we're doing a 5-year clock, is that okay?
That's, if y'all okay with 5 year, I'm gonna You good?
With that 5 years.
I'm
That's
saying
reasonable.
no.
Yeah.
I like our thoughts.
You like it?
It's hard, but, I think it needs to stay that way.
Okay.
Stay what?
Second offense, you're terminated.
Alderman McCoy? Because I'm gonna bring it to a vote, and I'm gonna put 2 different things out there for you to vote on, yes or no.
I definitely don't think it should outlive the terms that we're elected in. So 5 years would be out of question for me. Another mayor shouldn't walk in and find an employee that had a situation during another term and then be able to make a life-changing decision on him. Then we've been there through, so we're elected 4 years at a time. I could probably get in that 4-year group, something like that. No, definitely not 5.
Alderman Dorey?
I $1,000 lifetime.
Okay, I'm gonna call for votes, we need to move on. Well,
I'm gonna make a motion, we vote on it lifetime or, what, 4 or 5 years? Or 1 year, Robert's got 1 year.
This thing has several different parts
It's
to
got a
it,
lot of,
and you
I
got.
think the rest of it was agreed to, wasn't it?
Yeah, the rest of it.
Yeah.
the rest of it has one part.
Council, tell me what part has been agreed to.
That's what I'm looking at.
I would have no idea.
Still working on another part.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we table this until such time as we have more time to further, to research
Investigate,
these
maybe
points.
research, and I agree with
These
you.
points that are made. I know that this has been on the table for quite some time. I know that y'all have been working on it for quite some time and that you're wanting to get it in place. But we are dealing with so much more than just the 6 of us making a decision. We're dealing with 200 employees and their life here, 160.
But wait a
But
minute, now, those employees are dealing with our lives. And if they come into work under the influence, it's us.
Now, wait a minute. By tabling this, we're still operating the one that says 30-day suspension, second
Okay.
time
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'll have to say this, probably the number one thing that we all had concerns about was this right here.
Yeah.
Well, this and the
It was
use of
probably,
losing.
wasn't it, Bill? Bug? I mean, that's, everybody had concerns about.
And that's why I'm letting y'all's call to make. I mean, I'm gonna live by what y'all say.
There's a motion on the
And
table
Sabrina made a
Yeah.
motion, and I'm seconding Sabrina's motion.
What you want?
that we table this. We need more time.
Call for a vote down there?
Well, I have a motion and a second. Yeah, I call for a vote. All in favor of that? Favor? Okay. With that, we're going to use going through the rest of the discussion, I guess it is. I mean, I'm talking about the rest of the
Oh,
handbook.
yeah, because it's not pertaining to the drill part.
Okay.
No, you just label
The
it.
The handbook's tabled.
Yeah.
I would just, in the future, if we ask for coming in and discussing these things, I just hope everybody will come participate. Everybody's invited to come in and discuss these issues.
Can I ask a question? Did you table the whole handbook, the rest of the discussion, or just that part of it? If you can't go over those last few?
Tabled the handbook,
Okay,
the pre-file. I tabled the pre-file of the ordinance.
okay.
Okay. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8, discussion of commercial electric rates applied to home-based businesses. Y'all remember last meeting, I did do some research on that, and I contacted several municipalities our size, not the Zachary's or the Baton Rouge's or all that. And they did offer, and one of the best conversations I had was a little town called Addis, Louisiana. The population, I think, is just under 4,000 or just over, close to ours. And what they do not, I didn't find anybody that upcharged somebody that had a residential and had an occupational license out of their home. They didn't charge extra for garbage collection, and they didn't charge extra for electric. However, they sent me their ordinance, and I would like for us to, I'm going to give this to each one of the aldermen to look over and for discussion, but what they do is they set requirements for that home-based businesses and the type of businesses it can be, and they have to go through the planning commission to get the approval from them, and then they bring it to the city council. Now, I'm not saying that's what we're gonna do, I'm just saying that's what they do, and they go and investigate those things, and then we follow up with it. And also, there's periodic inspections to make sure that they're not violating what they're supposed to do, whether it's, traffic and bringing a bunch of different things. For example, they don't allow but one service truck to be parked at the residence. If somebody had a fleet of service trucks and they're all parked in the yard and everything else, and they were their neighbor, you'd probably have a problem with it. So it does set some criteria, which we did investigate it, but I will ask the council tonight if we have a residential-based Somebody want an occupational license for a business, do we want to revert back to not charging the regular rates and regular trash pickup?
About need to start those two things, take them back to normal.
First, can I say, one of the stipulations, they just like residents, is what, 2 cans, is that right, Lee?
3 cans.
3 cans, no more than what a residence would have as far as volume.
Would this also stop the contractors who are in town from dumping massive amounts of debris throughout the town?
That's supposed to be stopped already.
Totally.
That's been taken care of to some degree. There was one contractor who didn't have clarity, but I know there was a mess on Apple Street that he did clean up. I talked with him, and I think Lee did as well, he cleaned it up,
So then they wouldn't then be able to say, well, we're paying commercial rates, so we can dump this here. So doing away with this upcharge would negate that completely.
Anything that they do in their business cannot be brought back to their house and dumped on the grounds. This is just for household,
You talking about
garbage.
the houses being gutted, is that what you're talking about? On those, in that area? I
Right.
mean, I've had calls about that too. There's
Yeah.
several houses being gutted and that stuff's going on the street, but there's no utilities on as far as we know. So what's happening with that?
They picked it up.
Huh?
The contractor picked it up.
He did?
If it's a contract, pick it up, he picked it up. Okay, y'all still, what do y'all want to do as far as the
I'd
rate?
like to remove the upcharge.
Okay. Me too. All right, do I hear a motion that we do that, revert it to back to residential for those businesses that have a occupational license in the residential area and they meet the criteria that we're gonna look at later.
That's the next question. What is the criteria? Because that is what you said last time. You said the criteria is what's gonna be the problem, as to judge who and who isn't.
Well, Dr. One, I'm gonna give y'all,
That's why-
I'm gonna give y'all a copy of this ordinance at another
The
town.
planning commission might be a good person to put it there.
I will get that and we can make a ruling and either pre-file an ordinance next meeting or what those
I think we
criteria are.
think we can go on for discussion next time.
All right, so don't even take the rate off either?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we need
So I'll make a motion to table that.
Okay, so let's,
Make a motion to table that. Done there.
motion made by Alderman Probst, second by Alderman Garner, on favor? Okay. Now, item number 9 is to pre-file an ordinance to set salaries for the mayor, board of aldermen, city clerk, and chief of police. As many of you saw, that the legislative auditor recently audited Ferry, and one of the write-ups were it's required by ordinance that you set the salary of the mayor, the board of aldermen, city clerk, and chief of police by ordinance. You can't just, I mean, it's a document that you file, it's a salary ordinance that it's supposed to be a record, it's in the budget. I don't understand it, but it's gotta be an ordinance, it can't be, it's just a law. And this is to get us in compliance with the law, pre-file this ordinance to set these salaries. So, and that's what we want to do this evening, is to set this and get us legal as far as our budget requirements are for the state.
I didn't have that ordinance or a copy of that pre-file in my packet. Did we have that at all?
No.
Well, basically all it does is just addresses the salaries, and I'll be glad to give those if y'all want the salaries breakdowns on it.
Do you have the historical data as well?
Huh?
Do you have the historical data as well?
Historical being,
Even from what's in those years.
The salaries for the last
10 years.
I don't have a historical data, I have what it is now.
Why don't we table that one too and try to get some data? I mean, I hate to
Well,
table
I mean,
something.
we can state what the salaries are, it's just saying, it's just stating what the salary, all you're doing is saying, pre-filing an ordinance, what that would be, and we're just gonna plug and play the figures that they are.
You just put in place what they are.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I mean, I kind of like the information of knowing what was, because a lot of us weren't here previously to know what the salaries were. What were they prior to us coming in office?
The last ordinance was done in 2008. So the salaries were what they were. For example, whatever the salaries were, they were approved and done by council from the previous time, and those were approved. The town was just out of compliance because you didn't do the rest of your paperwork. And this is us doing our paperwork, so we'll be in compliance with the Budget Act to be in compliance. That's what it is.
I'll make a motion to move on with the salary set as presently on.
Okay. Motion made by Alderman Best, is there a second? Okay. Motion dies for lack of a second. Okay. What information do y'all want?
Like 5-year history.
5-year history? Okay.
I say 10.
I say, okay, I'll agree with you, either.
2008.
Yeah, since that, and that's about the last, when it was last week.
I think best I can remember, the aldermen were making 600, the mayor was making 69,000, I think the police chief was just under that, and the clerk, I can't remember what the clerk's salary was. But now I think the salary here for the mayor is 82 or 3,000, the chief is 70,000 plus, y'all is 700, and Vicky's is, yeah. I mean, law cost, I mean, number one, Joey's and my salary is set. Whatever the election, whatever y'all's salary, when y'all ran for office, those salaries are basically set. You can decrease the clerks in your own, but you can't decrease the police chief or the mayor. That's in the act. And that's, I mean, we can get the information, but it doesn't change, anything other than getting the town in compliance with the Budget Act. That's all I'm asking for tonight. Just whatever y'all want to do. I mean, y'all pay for it. So I just want to make sure that what exactly you wanted and to bring it back up next time. I'm just trying to get us in compliance before we get
Decrease or even increase.
Huh?
Decrease or even increase, clerk.
in your own. You can increase or decrease your own. You can't decrease the chief or mine, but you can increase it. That's in the act.
All y'all thinking right now. I know what all y'all thinking right now.
Okay. Item number 10 is discussion of public meetings regarding hydro royalties. We have our advertising, I think, over to hit the paper tomorrow. The public meetings we're going to have for our hydro, and I'm encouraging everybody to come out and take part in that. We will have discussion on that and explaining our hydro relationship. And I think we got an exciting future, and I think you want to attend that. The trash truck, I want to bring up to all, and I've already mentioned one or two of you. We have been trying to get another trash truck, and Lee has located a truck. It was about $90,000. It had 100,000 miles on it, and how many years old?
That was a 2011.
And we had an insurance check for $102,000, $3,000. He's located a brand new one for $117,000. I think that's a no-brainer. We need to get the new one.
He's
That's
got
the
the
hook,
capital
it's a trash truck, but that's the hook truck. I couldn't get it all about. That's the.
I mean, when we first started out on the project, it was I called the guys and they said the new ones were gonna be 140-ish. Well, as we started talking to different guys with used trucks, and they started talking with other guys with trucks, and they started talking with other guys in trucks, the prices of the new trucks started coming down tremendously, so.
And actually, after going to LMA convention, I meant to get with you, Lee, on that, because I kind of talked to somebody who you dealt with on that subject matter in the past, and they recommended that they could get it for a lower price than what you have said, the 100.
Yeah, right.
And it's still got the same basic everything.
It's the same truck we're running now.
Right.
Same model, same make.
I say the sooner the better with that.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, I would just like to before we close, this is a shout out. This was a letter to myself, Johnny Evans, and Joey Merrill. As y'all know, we've had some tragedy in our town, but this is a letter from one of our residents. It says, guys, I would like to commend your staff on doing an excellent job of trying to save our grandbaby Jonah. The loss of our grandbaby is our parents' worst nightmare and something none of us ever want to experience. Both the Vidalia Police Department and Fire Department responded quickly and did everything possible to save baby Jonah's life. Everyone involved showed us compassion, caring, and remorse for our loss. Please know that the Reynolds and Parker families are both thankful for all that you did. We would like to thank those who came by and expressed their condolences. Also, we were extremely touched by Paul Allred with the Vidalia Fire Department. He came later Sunday evening to let us know he did all he could to save baby Jonah. He was very emotional and had connected with the baby Jonah. He told us that he had grandkids too, and this experience today really bothered him. It was a beautiful moment that he and Jared hugged, and Jared thanked him for doing his best to save baby Jonah. This is by far the best reason to live in a small town where we live, work, worship, and pass on to the next life while supporting each other through our life experiences. Thank you again, and God bless Cecil and Phyllis Parker. Job well done, guys. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Alderman Carter.
Second.
Second. Alderman Corey, all in favor?
Aye.